That's the power of remembering Allah. It's the best way to purify your heart. And know you will be loved by the merciful one. 'Cause that's the power of remembering Allah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. So much you can gain just by saying those few words. You can renew your faith.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, welcome back to School Matters. Alhamdulillah, we took a break during Ramadan, but we are here again with stories, opinions, views, advice of what you want to know. Well, the holidays are here, a time our children look forward to, filled with rest, fun, freedom, but while more free time and less supervision, many of our children become vulnerable to dangerous influences, especially drugs, and today we are having important conversation on how we can keep our children safe during this holiday period. With less structure and more freedom, many young people are at risk of falling into harmful habits, including drug use. Tonight, we're focusing on awareness, prevention, and the role we all play in keeping our children safe. Our guest in studio don't really need an introduction. He actually has his own show on Radio Ansaar. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam to you and all the listeners out there.
Your show is on Saturday.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, RAUF. Your show is listened by so many. And I think of your show, we can do so many shows because it's something that everyone is scared. They want advice, but they don't want advice. They don't want to expose their children, their family members, but they're listening to you. They're listening to you.
At least they're listening. I hope they're following the advice.
Alhamdulillah. Holidays are around the corner. But before we start, can you briefly tell our first-time listeners about the work you do and the kind of cases you deal with?
Okay, basically, RAUF was founded in 1998 due to the increase in substance abuse cases that we've experienced after the 94 elections. And that was, a lot of it is attributed to the removal of the army and put in the SAPS. It was, I think, an oversight, and it led to a huge problem. And this is as per United Nations statistics. And South Africa then, prior to that, South Africa was fairly well protected. The borders were well secured, under apartheid, unfortunately, but they've had good controls, and there was everything was well regulated. After 94, there was a lot of border relaxation, the SADC and that type of thing. So that actually added to the problem. And then around 94, 95, around there, cell phones came into being. And cell phone is now found to be one of the contributing factors to an addictive personality. So these things were running simultaneously. And today, throughout the world, substance has become a big problem. It has always been there in other countries, but in South Africa, more specifically, after 94, it really hit us very badly because of ignorance, that type of thing. And then RAUF was started then, and then we've grown over the years. Now we have 2 shelters, we have a halfway house. We're upgrading the one now into a fully fledged rehab treatment center, inshallah. We have support groups in Cape Town, Johannesburg, in Durban, throughout KZN, and we link up with FAD in Port Elizabeth. We're looking at establishing more support structures, because what we have found is that people, because there's so much of ignorance and the mindset that we have, if there's a problem, we just fix it up quickly and move on. It doesn't work like that. So we have established support groups so that anybody and everybody can access our program without much of an issue. RAUF basically does support aftercare, awarenesses and that type of thing. And it's an NGO that's been running for almost 30 years, alhamdulillah. Generally, all substance abuse related issues.
Alhamdulillah. Well, you know what? My early days at Radio Ansaar, you used to do a show. I think your show was before or after, but I remember in the old studios.
Yes.
So you're here very long. Alhamdulillah. Do you know, how serious is the drug problem among young people, especially during the school holidays?
You see, generally, I mean, put the stats aside. I'm talking about from my personal observation. If you have to ask me, it's escalating. And if you look at some of the stats in the Western Cape and KZN, they say 60% of the youth that were tested were found to be positive for Xanax. So as far as dacha is concerned, and all the other things that they're putting into the vape and Xanax, we have. Well, and again, statistics are telling us that 15% of our youth are on drugs. 15%. So it's quite serious. And if, unfortunately, ignorance is adding to the problem because we don't know how to deal, and with everything now it'll go its a phase, but it's there to stay. So during the holiday season, especially when school is closing, that's when the experimentation will happen. The youngsters may say, who have never taken it, you don't know something, it doesn't bother you, so they may just try, let me pull off of marijuana, or let me just pop a Xanax, or maybe just have a drink of lean, or maybe a vape, put something in the vape and have that. So the chuffing now is becoming a problem. So experimentation normally happens during a holiday season when they're closing for school, and then that's the first step into addiction. So we need to, I think, warn our youth against experimenting. We should look at prevention is better than cure. If we can prevent our youth, because everybody that got into addiction experimented.
Exactly.
And especially the youth, it was a happy occasion, a holiday or something that was going on, and everybody just dropped the guard and boom, you got a problem.
And then they hooked.
Exactly.
And then they hooked. At what age are you seeing children first being exposed to drugs? I know last conversation we had, I was shocked.
It is confirmed that we are picking up cases as young as 9. And I think I mentioned that some of these children, when the parents are smoking, if they're smoking heroin or even crack cocaine, they are getting the fumes from a very young age. So children are being exposed from a very young age. I mean, I know of cases where a child was born with drawing, and it was quite a horrible thing to see. But it's getting younger. And now we're dealing with around maybe 9 years old, around there somewhere. In the South Coast, one of our motivational speakers came back very disturbed. And I was quite shocked to see there were so many 9-year-olds that were experimenting with drugs. So it's getting even more dangerous by the year. And our lack of knowledge in dealing with it is actually adding to the problem.
Over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, primary schools, they have the QLT where, awareness, still pain, Xanax, and right from putting paraffin on their jerseys or on a cloth and inhaling it.
Sniffing it, yeah.
And that was quite shocking because as educators, we will never think of ways of getting intoxicated or high. And schools around the area, and that's what's so frightening because we as educators are also in denial. It can't be the children. It's the high schools, but it's, as you say, as young as 9.
Yeah, and we ask ourselves, why are the youngsters looking at all these, why are they walking? It has become a trend. It has become I would say a fashion. It has become a way of life. It has become a norm in our communities. If you look at the schools and you're an educator, and I'm sure that if you look at any school, so far, every school that we've been to, there was an addiction problem. So, and the sad thing is that the parents would send the child to school expecting them to do well, and all this have this mindset, come back with a beautiful report. We worry so much about the academic achievement, the emotional and the psychological development. We don't put a lot of emphasis on that. Children are being now fed to these, wolves waiting out there to destroy. I mean, if you look at what happened in Phoenix or Verulam last week, there were young girls selling drugs, and these are all becoming norms in our society. Children want to fit in. have had on my program on Sunday, there were two youngsters. They got in because they wanted to fit in. It's become a trend. It's trending now. And social media is not making any better. It's, there's, you can get onto anything and find out about anything and find out what type of high it gives you. There's too much of, I think, our as parents, we've given our children too much of freedom in the sense where they are free to do what they want to do, and I think we're getting busy with our lives, and we are lacking in our responsibility towards our children.
Exactly. Life is so busy, rushed. As you said in the beginning, the cell phone, well, this is a stress. Your work, your family, your friends, 24 hours, this is stress.
Exactly.
And all of us, I know, are guilty. We tend to be on our phones more with our family. And then people get annoyed, irritated, angry when you don't reply, when you don't do a message. So you need to set the precedent. When you're at home, you're with family. And if it's urgent, take a call. But how many of us really do that?
No, and I've said that. I myself say that. And sometimes I end up, making calls or taking calls. But it's good to maintain, to discipline ourselves into having your time away from it, because addiction starts, well, now they are saying that internationally it's a cell phone that's linked to the addictive personality, because if you take a cell phone, we will guard our cell phone more than our wallet. You can lose your wallet, you go from the bank and just put a stop payment, put a thing on the card. But when it comes to a cell phone, you go into a shock mode. You must watch somebody when they can't find the phone. They tend to get very hysterical. And you find that in a home environment, parents themselves are, addicted to the cell phone thing. And I think that's cultivating the personality. And here comes somebody offering you drugs. It's an escape and it's a feel good. So it's a different feeling, other than the normal thing. So they become easily, attached to something which leads to addiction.
Exactly.
Drugs.
Do you know what are the most common substances the young people are using today for teachers and parents to know what is it?
Look, Dhaka it's a gateway drug. And I don't know why, in most of our cases, from my observation, when they would bring the child will be asked to go and get help because their child was found maybe smoking Dhaka. The family will come and say, it's only Dhaka, so it's fine. We do the test. No, it's Dhaka. No, it's only marijuana, so it's fine, don't worry. It's nothing heavy, so it's fine. Only to come back with a bigger problem. Now, these are all gateway drugs. Dhaka is a gateway drug. Xanax is a gateway drug. And Xanax is it's a pandemic in our schools. Even 3 to 5 rand, you can get it cheap, easily accessible. So you can get it anywhere. But how many of us as parents even are aware of that?
Very few.
This is the problem. That's what's feeding the problem.
And, we are not trained, even as educators or even as parents, what are the telltale signs? I mean, we don't know. We just assume a child is hyperactive or just naughty or disruptive behavior. But what is it?
The telltale signs are many. The drop in grades, withdrawing from family, engagement, lack of appetite. In some cases, Dhaka, it could be red eye. Your eyes being bloodshot red, and also mood swings. Bad sleeping patterns, regular, sniffing, cold or whatever. The immunity goes a bit down, and losing, lack of communication. Basically withdrawing themselves. There's many others. It depends what drugs are, but the general symptoms are you will see the difference in the child when the child starts, because there will be a detachment from the family. There will be sleeping issues with sleep. There will be issues with the type of people hanging unhygienic and that type of thing. So these are the general. And any parent, if you are not, you don't have to be you just watch on a normal basis. You'll pick it up. But sometimes it's a phase. He's just going through a phase. He'll grow out of it. We expect them to find themselves on their own without any guidance.
And parents are also embarrassed. They don't want to talk about it, or they, as you said, they don't want help. No, it's just a passing thing. But not realizing their child is going to be hooked. And as you said, it's so common. It's like the norm of today. There's nothing wrong. Everyone does it, especially the youth, regardless of race, culture, religion, for fun. It's a social thing.
It starts like that, yes.
It's a social thing at parties. There's a peer pressure. So What usually leads to a child to try drugs for the first time? Is it curiosity, peer pressure,
I
or
think
something deeper?
I think it's both. It's curiosity and it's peer pressure, and obviously it's availability. I mean, the drugs in this country, South Africa is a drug capital with some of the major drugs. I mean, KZN is the hub of all drug activities in sub-Saharan Africa. So we're sitting on the hub, in Durban. So the availability of the drugs, it's everywhere, anywhere. You don't have to reach out. It's right in front of you. It's available in schools. It's being sold in the tuck shops. It's being sold. There's people all over the place. Our understanding of a dealer is sitting somewhere in one isolated corner. You got to go there and get the stuff. Today, the dealer could be your friend in school, or it could be the cafe down the corner. It could be maybe somebody that's living next door. So it's availability. There's a lot of money in it. Youth are getting attracted to the finance that they get out of it, the monies they get, and we've had a lot of youth that come to us that we're dealing. So availability of the drug is what make it a huge problem. It's something you don't have to even look for. It's there. And sometimes we've had youngsters telling us, like now when the schools are closing, and the guy gave me something, I popped it, and that was it, So that could be a fatal blow.
And again, they're in that party mood. They're in that...
You drop your guard.
Exactly, drop your guard. What are the early warning signs parents often miss?
You see, there are many signs, and I think the general thing is that you will find that the child generally he starts to become a little bit of a challenge. There's a bit of mood swings, lying, stealing, unexplained, absenteeism. There are a lot of physical symptoms. You'll see the type of people that they're hanging out with, the type of conversation that they will have, that type of thing. You'll see all these things, bad eating habits. You'll see all these things. And these are the general symptoms that you will find normally, just pulling out of the top of my head, that you will find and that's when you know that this is not normal. It needs to be looked deeper into, not necessarily going and doing a drug test, but at least watch closer to get a better picture as to why this child is not behaving normal. And you, as a parent, I'm sure we all parents, we'll see there's a change in behavior. We'll see it immediately. We know our children, so we'll see this, and immediately we know that there is something that needs to be looked at.
Exactly. When should a parent become concerned enough to seek help?
I think we shouldn't wait to be concerned. We should be proactive. Generally looking, okay, if we expect, like how we expect our children to excel academically, we should expect, and I'm sorry to say this, we should expect that your child could become a future drug addict. I'm sorry I have to say this, but this is the reality. We're living in a country where substance abuse is a huge problem, and we must expect these things to come home. And we all, we don't expect it to happen. We don't take it seriously. We live as though it will never happen in our homes. No, we never had addiction in our house, so it's fine. It's not going to happen to us. They said, no, but maybe it's a certain kind of people. So number one is we have to expect these things and be proactive. And you need to start to take the necessary steps. For example, I'm talking for myself. I've got a grandson and a granddaughter that I will take with me to a support group program, because I will not wait for them to get to a point where the thing is put to them and then deciding or not knowing what to do. I rather proactively train them and teach them. I mean, if you know there's a certain challenge in your community, and you do nothing about it, what does it tell you? That you are not interested, or you are in a comfort zone. So we know substance abuse is a problem in this country. We know that's it in all schools, and we don't expect our child to take it. What kind of parents is that? So it tells you that we as parents, we need to be more proactively involved. So these are all the things that we need to put in place if we want to ensure that our child is free and safe from addiction. And an empowered child. There's a lot of things that parents can do that, to bring the children closer, to avoid them from getting into the substance abuse. I mean, it can be parents need to be part of the children's life. They need to engage with the children, bring them closer, to have more conversation with them, listen to them when they're talking. We're too busy with our social media. We must listen to our children when they're talking. Be a role model to your child. so the child looks up to you. Be honest. You mustn't, as parents, we are the role models. Be honest. You must pick your moment when to talk about these things. If you suspect the child is doing something and you're not in a good space, he walks in and you storm at him, it's not the way to deal with it. You got to find the right time. If you suspect that the child is doing something, find the right time to talk to him, or seek help from a counselor that can arrange for some type of way of dealing with it, because sometimes it can be very explosive. We've had situations where the parent beat the child up, and the child ended up, eventually the child died. He had committed suicide, but because of the abuse. But the thing is, parents need to be calm, avoid conflict. You must keep talking to the children, and they must set clear boundaries. If you set clear boundaries, your child knows these are the boundaries. We need to have, raising a child is a full-time job.
Exactly.
And our responsibility as parents, it ends the day we die.
Well, you are opening what they say, your heads, your ears, you what's going on. This is the harsh reality. We'll be taking a break and we will continue.
Sure.
You are listening to School Matters with Sumaya Khan.
This azan is sponsored for the Isale Sawab of Marhum Muhammad Farooq Latib and all Marhumeen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them the highest abode in Jannah. Ameen.
أعزائي المستمعين، حان الآن موعد أذان العشاء لمدينة دربن وما حولها.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
This dua brought to you by Simplex Radio, South Africa's leading retailer of appliances, car sound and home theater systems.
These surahs after Azan are brought to you by Amina's Wonder Spice and Wonder Dates, 9 Peters Road, Springfield, Durban.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Having a clean, comfortable home is every homeowner's pride. That's why Khan's Chemicals have developed and manufactured prime yet affordable quality household brands. Starlight, Miracle Mum, Exterminate, and Angie to care for your home and family. With a wide range of fabric softeners, dishwashing liquids, bleachers, and all-purpose cleaners, pine gels, bubble baths, and much more, Khan's Chemicals ensures your home remains our number one priority. For sales and other inquiries, call 011 933 4021. Khan's Chemicals, cleaning your home the way you want.
The chaos and destruction in the Gaza Strip is beyond comprehension. Virtually everyone is displaced, hungry, and in urgent need of life-saving humanitarian support. The Al-Imdad Foundation has been working tirelessly to address the health, nutrition, and water needs of the population. Our hospital, water deliveries, and hot meal programs are made possible with your support. Your donation, big or small, is a lifeline for those in dire need. Help Gaza survive. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Durban, are you ready to shop till you drop? The Durban Shopping Festival is back from the 3rd to 6th of April at the Durban Exhibition Centre, bringing you 4 days of incredible shopping and unbelievable deals. And this year, it's all about the deals. Discover fashion steals, beauty must-haves, home decor, delicious food, and so much more. Whether you're a bargain hunter or treating yourself, this is where the best finds are waiting. Don't miss the shopping event everyone's going to talk about. The Durban Shopping Festival. Shop more, save more, enjoy more. Durban's greatest shopping event of the year.
Radio Ansaar, 24/7, 365.
You're listening to School Matters with Sumaya Khan.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, welcome back to School Matters. You're listening to School Matters. Yes, we took a break during Ramadan, but there's school holidays around the corner, but we'll still be having School Matters. This evening, we have a topic which you wanted. You know, that's how important it is. How do we keep our child safe during the holidays, especially when there's availability of drugs? Talking of, you told me 10 people can get high on 40 rand, which will last for a week. If you look around, every corner there's a cannabis shop. That's a gateway. There has been cases and research where in the cannabis, other substances are mixed. How true is that?
I know in the vape, you can get other chemicals, and I don't want to mention what they are, and they are deadly stuff. You know, we've had a youngster that was brought to us that was high for about 3 or 4 days, totally out of control. We tested him, and he was negative. He was negative. He was 15 years old, totally out of control. Then the family said gin and this and that, negative test, only to find out this guy had put something into the vape, and it was giving him a head rush. and he lost it for about a week. So yes, there are things that they're putting in the vape that's giving them that can be deadly. On the cannabis, of course they are lacing it with other things, and sometimes you test for cannabis, you're picking up ecstasy or you're picking up cocaine because they're lacing it with other things to give you a better high. And we need to understand that. I've been reading up this one article by a psychiatrist where it was mentioned that they're picking up a lot of cases where through cannabis use, children or people are becoming totally permanently psychotic, becoming psychotic just by smoking cannabis. Whilst we think, it's natural, it's herbal, it's
health benefits. When you think about it, when it first became legal in South Africa, everyone has so much of things. People were actually quoting, and I'm saying this, these are my views and opinions, what I read and what I saw, quoting from Hadith and Quran, and it's allowed, and you look at them and think like, gosh, so much and so hard you want something to be legal. You also probably came across this.
We have this debate from time to time. But the thing is, we should look, we are the believers of this deen, and we should understand that anything that intoxicates you in larger quantities is forbidden, even in smaller quantities.
Yeah.
And we should understand that anything that alters the mind is not good for us. Okay, we can argue and debate about maybe for medical illness they use it, but use and abuse is two different things. So you can take a still pain because you have pain, that's usage. But if you're taking 10 still pains every day, that's abuse. So there's a huge distinction between usage and abuse. So the thing is, whilst some may use, others may abuse. But then we cannot make an excuse and say, I have to take this tablet. And especially, we say to generally females that if you are carrying a lot of pain tablets in your bag, you could possibly be sitting with an addiction problem.
And that's quite common because people probably in your family, your colleagues, whoever, they want to take an anti-inflammatory or a pain tablet, and even if there's no pain, it's just a habit.
Exactly. You get into the habit of taking it, and this is addiction. This is how it grows, and it becomes a huge. We're sitting with the parent, an adult parent, that was taking 1 or 2 tablets, and now 10, 20, 30, 40, and it led to a total breakdown. Totally psychotic, put into a psychiatric detox, and now we're battling to get this parent through this trauma of rehabilitation, where the children are suffering, she is going through trauma, the husband is suffering. We got to detach her from our family until we get it right. But this is where it starts, and it can go. It escalates. There has to be control. We need to understand that there's a huge gap between usage and abuse, and if we do not, even for myself. If it's very seldom that I will take a pain tablet. It must be extreme. Even if it's extreme, I got to maintain the maximum is a Panado. Nothing. You get this tramadol, Tremoset. It's leading to a lot of abuse if it's not used correctly. So I would not recommend any pain medication unless if there's extreme pain
and by a doctor.
Yes, recommended by a doctor.
Currently, fire extinguisher. I was quite shocked when I saw. Yes. What's going on with that?
When you start getting into, when addiction takes over a community, we get desperate. They were going after these catalytic converters in cars. They were doing all that, and now it's this chuffing thing that's becoming a problem. Where they give them a high, what it does to the brain, Allah knows. But it's something new. It's in our communities, and there was an issue last week. I think in Verulam there was a case where, they found out cases that were taking it, and it's on social media. So children are getting desperate. They're experimenting because we are allowing them to. We're not putting measures in place to educate our children. So they're like we are on one parallel and our children on another line. We are totally disconnected from each other. We don't have proper education and communication with the children. We leave them to their devices, and then they do what they feel like and how they feel like. So children need to be brought closer to us, and they need to be nurtured, empowered, educated. The child will appreciate a parent when the parent educates the child.
100%. What practical steps can parents take to protect their children during this holiday, and would they friends and where they go. It's very hard.
Okay, this is for the parents, right? Tell me, when last did you check your son's pocket or your daughter's pocket for any substance? When last did you turn those pockets upside down and see if there's any, maybe dacha, maybe a pill, or maybe there's something that's linked to drugs in the pockets? When last did you check the bags? When last did you speak to your child about addiction? When last did you sit and have a discussion about substance abuse with your children? If the answer is no, then you are a disempowered parent. So parents need to be very honest and open with the children about substance abuse. And not only that, there's vaping and a whole lot of other things. We need to be very open about it. And we need to talk to our children and tell them, these are the concerns. We talk to them about eating halal and haram. That one is halal, you can eat. This one is haram, you can't. We know they'll tell you what is halal, what is haram, the big boards in the shops. But then you got with drug abuse, which is such a huge problem. We don't empower our children.
Exactly.
So if we had to put the same effort that we put in maintaining what halal to be consumed, not haram, then we would not be sitting with this problem today. Parents need to, but if you're not an empowered parent, how are you going to empower a child? So we are saying parents need to educate themselves, understand the seriousness of the problem in their communities, do their own research, do their own invest, take your child to a support group, speak to them about substance abuse, talk about what it is doing to other people, maybe show examples of people that were, were successful and what drugs has done to them. We need to engage more with our children. We need to narrow the gap between us and our children. We are busy with our life and they are busy. Two parallels, there is no communication, or little or nothing. Parents need to narrow that gap. They need to bridge that gap. They need to work closer with the children. They need to have more discussions, have this quality time, spending more quality time, especially now in this holiday season. Children, now we'll drop him at the shopping mall, we'll pick him up after 3 hours. Now, you dropped him off there, who he met, what he did, you don't know. Get to know who their friends are.
Yeah.
Get to know if they're sleeping over, where they're sleeping, if the parent empowered enough to see that everything goes well. We need to show that we care more about our children. Caring doesn't necessarily mean you're taking care of all these, material needs.
Yeah.
Caring means more about how you cultivate the correct mindset in the child, where you prepare him for these challenges. If you leave him out there, he's walking, he doesn't know. Ignorance is bliss. He walks into a situation, he doesn't know where he's going. Try this thing. Oh, I've never heard about this. Let me try it. But if you empower your child, he'll say, no, this is bad. I can't touch this stuff. We need to start educating our children. Have more of these discussions, because what we are doing instead is we're running away from it. We block our ears. We don't want to hear about it. And when it hits our houses, we don't want to talk about, we're going to deny night. It takes you 10 years before the parents realize I've got a problem. But if the parent understands that the sooner I act, the better it is, then the problem can be solved. But you leave it to a point because of denial and lack of communication.
So what mistakes do parents often make in handling these situations?
The general thing is that, if there is addiction in a family, the general thing from our observation is that the parent will generally sweep it under the carpet. Or they'll have a big discussion. You mustn't take this drug. It's bad for you. They'll have a once-off discussion. And the child say, well, I've crossed the first bridge. Now he's given me a talk, so he's aware that I'm taking it. Let's see, I'll try it again. But the parent generally have the sweeping under the carpet, denial, and they don't want it to come out in the open, so they keep it hushed, not realizing, like an ostrich chased by a lion, bury his head in the ground and think the lion can't see him.
Exactly. So how does the rehabilitation process work for young people?
Basically, there's you have to prepare the parent, because there's stages into addiction. There's 4 stages, and there's stages in recovery. There's many stages in recovery. So what happens normally? You would do the detox, put them into a facility for 21 days or 2 months or 3 months, and they come out, and the family doesn't have a clue. This youngster went into a facility, stayed 3 months, and he came out. He's still very much in denial. According to our research, denial takes 6 to 8 months, sometimes up to a year. So you put him in a 3-month program and you think he's ready. In reality, he's not. So parents need to empower or to deal with addiction. The parent need to first educate themselves. This is where we come in. We would ensure, to us, the challenge is not the person that's addicted. The challenge is the parent, educating the. And in many cases, the parents say, he took the drug. Why do I have to sit there? He took it under your watch. So there's something that you don't know that we need to teach you because it happened under your watch. So yes, you have enabled it. You were a silent contributor, or you have enabled it. So parents need to educate themselves. Then you need to get the child rehabilitated. But once you got addiction in your house, the personality is there. You think you're going to detox him and think you're going to be living happily ever after. The detox is the smallest component. It's only to flush you out, flush the body out. But the thing is to change that mindset. That takes a long time, because just as you get stages into addiction, you get stages in recovery. And in most cases, they would go into a detox, sit in a 3-month program, come back overconfident. All the 3 C's given back, all the 3 P's given back. The child has got everything back. He goes back to where he came from. And if a parent is disempowered, that's what he knows. So we are saying that we only do it the right way. There's no other shortcut. We don't do shortcut programs. We do the right way, where you would work with the family holistically. And recovery is a long process, because the dysfunctional mind doesn't go when they clean. It's something that you have to work on all the time. Sometimes the person may be clean from the drug, but he's got a dysfunctional mindset. He walks around like a dry drug addict. And you need to break that cycle if you want a holistic change.
You touched on denial. Well, a message came through to me. It's so true, from a counselor, that especially in certain communities, let's say the Muslim community, the parents are in denial. They'll say, as you said, they got a jinn, something affected them, or something happened. But they don't want to say that the child has all the symptoms of something.
Denial is the number one problem amongst the parents, unfortunately. And we have this challenge every day. We don't have, I'm not a very popular guy amongst parents dealing with addiction, because we say it like it is. And we would ensure that the parent is empowered. And the first thing, I'm sitting with one chap that's the brother, he's about 7 years clean. His brother is about 2 years clean, 2 brothers. And the parents are still in denial. They still can't understand the seriousness of the problem. So we have to now parent the children, these 2 adults, because mom and dad don't understand that they're still in denial. So denial is the single major contributing factor that prevents us from rehabilitating. And this quick fix, denial, okay, let's do something, but let's take him to a program, put him in there 3 months. And I've seen this case. Yeah. We had this chap, we kept him there with us. Mother comes, no, you're taking too long. Put him in another rehab. And then I happened to walk in one day when just as he comes out of this other rehab, Allah made it said that I have to be witnessing how they're having this get together on the beach somewhere. Yeah. Having this get together. My son is clean, he's cured now, only to find him coming to our gate a month later. So the thing is, there is no quick fix. I think as parents, you want a quick fix. You think it's like, okay, go to rehab. You want to move on. You don't want to sit with the problem. It's like, taking the medication from the doctor and now you're going to feel better after a week. That's the mindset. But let's be honest, all of us have it now and then, that mindset. So that is why it's so important for parents to be schooled on the process. If you look at our Ramadan appeal, and we want to know how addiction starts. It starts from infancy. It starts from the day you parent the child, how you parent the child, whether you sing to his wants or you sing to his needs, whether he's pushing the boundaries or you're allowing him to push the boundaries to a point where you don't cultivate good emotional intelligence, you don't cultivate common sense. We put so much of emphasis on IQ, we forget about emotional intelligence. When the child wants something, it's given to him. You may be a very poor parent, but you spoil your child. I gave him my last cent. I've given him the best education, but what did you do about him having control of his emotions, him dealing with day-to-day challenge? And that is 95% of our, of our time. We don't put emphasis on these things where the disciplining is not there, the boundaries are not there, the correct upbringing is not there, holding them accountable is not there. They throw a tantrum and they get what they want. We are cultivating an addictive personality in our houses from infancy. Tell me, right now, parents who are listening to us, or even
addicts. How can listeners reach out if they need assistance or advice from you?
Okay, you can WhatsApp us 060-728-3786. 060-728-3786. You can call on our landline 031-269-3662, or you can WhatsApp me 082-775-7863, or you can join one of our support groups in Spencer Road or wherever in the country you can maybe get access to one of our Ramadan appeals. Our Ramadan appeals on the last page. It tells you all our support groups throughout the country and which days they are. So I would suggest a proactive parent coming and sitting in a support group whilst your child is young. Because if you do not educate yourself, we know when there's COVID, we knew how to prevent our child from getting COVID. We read about it. We got all the right mixture, the right homemade remedies. We got everything. We were prepared and it helped. If we can put half that effort on being proactively involved in our children's lives, this problem would be almost brought down to minimum. But we as parents are the biggest form of addiction is comfort zone. We as parents are in our comfort zones. Sometimes you have a mother, I can't come to your program, I'm too busy. But it's your son that you're talking about. Is your son not important? Yes, he is, but I can't come and sit in the program. So the parent will expect us to do the hard work and they sit at home. We say, no. The problem is yours. Once you cultivate that addictive personality, it's there to stay. You got to break it down in stages. It doesn't just go away with a few tablets. The tablets take care of the physiological issues, but not the psychological issue. Yeah, which is a major part of addiction.
Harsh reality, say the way it is for parents out there. What's really happening? Before we round off,
look, to all the parents out there, including myself, I don't think any parent can prepare themselves to live with addiction in their homes. And if we introspect as parents and understand that we are living in times when it has become a norm, in this country it has become a pandemic, 60 to 80% of our crime is drug related. If we are parents that think it's not going to come to our house, then we're either very fast asleep or we are too comfortable in our own spaces. My advice to parents is educate yourself. Join support groups, research addiction, understand what recovery is all about. Because if you don't educate yourself, how are you going to empower your child? So my advice to parents is, please educate yourselves. Understand that innocent soul that Allah has blessed you with is one of the greatest gifts Allah had given to you in this dunya. Understand your responsibility towards that innocent soul. Understand that you as a parent need to do everything to ensure that this child lives life correctly. So we are saying to parents, if you're having a problem, join the support. But don't wait for that to happen. Every parent should educate themselves. I cannot understand. If we are seeing it in all the schools, how come the parent who's listening to what I'm saying right now still chooses to go into a comfort zone? You got a bigger problem than addiction. Comfort zone. Comfort zone is what prevents you from getting out of your comfort and moving out and working towards the solution.
Well, as parents, we cannot be everywhere all the time, but our influence, our guidance, and love can be. These holidays, let's not just give our children freedom, but direction. So one conversation, one moment of attending and giving attention could save a child's future. So let's choose to be parents present, because our children are depending on us. I'd like to thank our guest, Brother EBRAHIM RAUF. As I said, 20 years from now, and even another 20 years, this topic will continue. And I know parents right now listening, they like, it was an eye opener for them, We appreciate the vital role you play in supporting recovery and changing lives. No one might give you the social media status and all the likes, but alhamdulillah, I know thousands of individuals have come clean because of you
Alhamdulillah.
and your organization and all those who work with you. So we truly appreciate your time and contribution. My email address is sumayakhan.alansar@outlook.com. Let's stay alert, stay involved, and continue to create safe spaces for our young ones. This has been School Matters, because our children truly matter. Stay safe, stay connected, and let's guide them towards a brighter future. Assalamu alaikum.
That's the power of remembering Allah. It's the best way to purify your heart. And know you will be loved by the merciful one. 'Cause that's the power of remembering.